So let's talk about immigration and in particular racism in Long Island, in particular Patchogue. And it's unfortunate that yet another individual of Hispanic origin was assaulted today while being on a bus simply for his ethnicity or his race. And I was actually motivated to do today's posting based on a question that was asked by conservative talk show host Rush Limbaugh. And as much as you hate Limbaugh, he was basically asking, will Democrats shout racism when certain incidences occur as they would if it were a Republican in office? And that's a pretty intriguing question. I think County Executive Steve Levy definitely has to be looked at. We all know that his past comments, which are very public and which have been recorded, have been anti-immigrant. In fact, he's one of the staunchest opponents in the immigration debate in the tri-state area and the U.S. as a whole. And because he's a Democrat, it seems like he's receiving a free pass. Unfortunately, with President-elect Obama's historic inauguration just a few short days ago, all roads and pretty much every news story is leading towards that, while the situation on Long Island is worsening and receiving scant attention from the media. I think what's happening in Long Island is symptomatic of, what happens when one group of people, irrespective of geographic location or national origin, believe that because of their skin color and their ethnicity, they have the right to dominate, to murder, to assault, and to treat another group simply because they consider that group to be inferior. We should all be concerned and be outraged about Long Island simply because yesterday it's Marcelo Lucero and countless unnamed immigrants who have been intimidated or afraid to step forward and report these assaults. And then tomorrow it'll be the average Joe and Jane because they're too short, too tall, too black, or too something else. Basically, no one group of human beings, irrespective of who they are, where they live, and how expensive their neighborhoods are, have the right to assault and murder someone else because of their ethnicity. I would like to see Democrats like Donna Brazil and the rest of the heavyweights, the Speaker, definitely address this. And if this issue is not addressed in the manner that it should, it's definitely showing what unfortunately Limbaugh spoke about in the Democratic Party, which is hypocrisy. I mean, County Executive Steve Levy, his comments and his assertions about immigrants and his stances has definitely led to this, and he has blood on his hands. Human beings do not hate on their own. They're usually led to hate. They're taught to hate. They're motivated to hate. And unfortunately, County Executive Steve Levy has blood on his hands. His canned apology a few weeks ago is a little bit of too little too late. Democrats have to sit down and address this issue. Because had it been a Republican in office as the county executive, there would be hell and damnation protests from Kalamazoo to Timbuktu. But now that it's a Democrat, he's pretty much receiving a pass. And it's not fair because one person already lost their lives, and we are told that countless others have been assaulted, and they're fearful of stepping forward and reporting these assaults because of reprisals. Fortunately, the U.S. Attorney did the right thing today, and the U.S. Attorney's Office has actually stepped in and are now conducting investigations. And I hope that they'll do a pretty good job and try to quell some of the fear that has been in the air in Long Island as of recent. We should all be concerned about Long Island because the situation in Patchogue right now is reminiscent of the plantations in the New World and the Jim Crow South. It's basically no different. It's just a different group of people doing the same thing, using their race, their ethnicity, and some sick idea of superiority and domination to murder another group of people. And we should not stand for that. When one immigrant is assaulted, murdered, or intimidated, all immigrants are assaulted and murdered. Because as I said, yesterday was Marcelo Lucero's turn, tomorrow it might be ours. And so it's time to step up. And we need to hear from the Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, Harry Reid, Donna Brazil, and all the Democrats who love having face time and airtime on CNN talking about the good in the party. But now that you have a county executive in Long Island who definitely has blood on his hands and innocent citizens are being murdered, this issue needs to be addressed. Come on. Failure to do so, honestly, will just lead to what unfortunately Limbaugh concluded, hypocrisy in the Democratic Party. We're better than that. It's time to step up, it's time to address this issue, and it's time to stop the hate.